So in the previous two movies, we've done a lot of work. We developed our strategy, and then we laid out our reference planes, put in all our formulas. We've got a lot of framework built here, but so far, even if you flex it, it's not terribly satisfying because we don't have any geometry yet. So in this movie, we're going to go ahead and start adding the curves that we need to create our cymaprofile, and then we'll be able to flex it and really see all of that work we've done in action. So I'm here in a file called cymareferences, and it's just a saved version of where we left off at the previous movie. If you want to use your version, you can feel free to do that as well. On the Create tab, I'm going to click the line button. Remember, we're in a profile family here, so the only kind of geometry we can add is lines. And I'm going to change to the Center Ends Arc tool here. So I'm going to choose that shape right there. Now, right here at this intersection is the center of my first arc. So I'm going to click right there to snap the center there. And then I want the start point in the arc to be at the intersection here at the bottom reference plane and the left reference plane. And then strike that arc out to the center point here in the middle of the screen. Now pick carefully because there are a lot of reference planes, and so it can get a little bit busy looking at them all. Now I'm going to cancel out of that command before I draw the second arc because like other families that we've built, you'll notice the automatic sketch dimensions appear, and that can add to the visual clutter on screen. So it's going to be a little easier if we get this one constrained first and then go draw the second one. So the first step is I'm going to select the curve, turn on the center mark, that'll appear right there, and then go to my align command and align from reference plane to center, reference plane to center, and don't forget to lock in both directions, reference plane to endpoint, lock, reference plane to endpoint, lock, and then two more times, right there. So that was 6 align and lock total. If you want to flex at this point, that one curve should flex properly because all of the formulas are set up. But I'm going to go right on to the second curve. It's a center ends arc again. This time the center point is right here. So notice the first center point was a little bit above center, and the second center point is a little bit below the horizontal center reference plane. So this one's a little bit below. It's going to start right at the end point of the last one and then sweep up to here and snap to there, cancel out of there, select it, turn on the center mark, go to my align command, and 6 more times, align and lock. In this direction, if it generates an error, don't worry about it. Just click cancel and keep going. Mine didn't, but sometimes it does, like right there. Just click cancel and keep going. That means we're done. So at this point, we now have both arcs that we need. Let's flex that. I'll try 0.4, click apply. You can see that adjust. Let's go to 0.7, click apply. It's pretty good. 0.9 in the Y direction, apply. And as you can see, it's working because each time we flex, it's recalculating all the trig for us, which calculates all these values and moves the reference planes to the appropriate locations so that you never end up breaking any of your curves. So that's it. That takes care of the curves. All that remains now is to just close up the shape. So the simplest thing to do is to add a reference plane over here somewhere. Throw a dimension on that. I'm going to dimension back to this reference plane, not X1. Select it, label it, call it depth. I'm going to leave that under dimensions this time because that's one of the properties that my user is going to input. I'm just going to flex that to 0.5, and then I'll finish out the profile with straight lines from here to here to here, align and lock on all 3 sides, like so. Save as, and put it on my desktop. So in the background, I have the Gothic arch loaded. You could load any of our other arches that we've already been working on. I'm going to click Load into Project. So after I've loaded it in, you can see it shows up there on the project browser as we've seen before. And now all I have to do is select my sweep, edit it, click the Select Profile button. This is important because even though the profile is in the family, it doesn't show up here because currently it's using a sketch. But if I click Select Profile, it'll tell me it's using a sketch, and then I get the option to change that sketch to my cymaprofile. And if you did the Ovolo movie, you see that it comes in a little bit large. I'm going to go ahead and click Finish here. And again, it's a little bit disproportional for the shape of this arch, but now it's just a matter of fine-tuning that shape by editing the properties here and putting in some smaller numbers. So I'll just have these numbers, click OK, gets a little smaller like that, and I'll select it. And I'm going to add an angle to the profile of -90, and I'll flip the profile, and you'll kind of see that profile being applied to our Gothic arch. Now, it's not quite as impressive as it could be looking at it in hidden line, so let's change this to shaded, and now you'll see that it looks a little bit nicer. And one of the things I really like about this approach is it's perfectly smooth right in here. You don't get a seam where those two curves come together. I think that's really nice, and it really helps sell this idea of using this approach to create these curves.